ever since I started sharing my journey, how I migrated from Nigeria to Ireland all by myself, I have received tons of questions, and of course, I appreciate those who reach out genuinely or who dropped questions on any of my videos online to probe further for them to be aware of what they are getting into. But in recent times, I have been receiving these questions. Is not just something I can answer in one simple sentence. So today I decided to make this video to answer frequently asked questions about migrating to abroad as a nurse. So in today's video is specifically for nurses. In recent times, it's no news that it's becoming really challenging for internationally educated nurses from countries in some parts of Africa to get jobs in Europe, be it the UK, be it the Republic of Ireland. It's becoming very difficult, and all these could be traced back to this World Health Organization red list. Okay, up till today, people are still asking, what is this red list about? So that's the first question I'm going to answer, right? My name is Ndoeso. I'm a registered nurse in Nigeria and in the Republic of Ireland. I make videos and share my journey and also educate others how they can do all these things all on their own. If you're a nurse, doctor, pharmacist, teacher, if you're any of the allied healthcare professionals, if you are a student or intending student who wish to move to any part of Europe, please, this channel is for you. Feel free to subscribe, watch my videos, ask your questions. If I've not covered it in any of the videos, I'm going to make video to answer your specific questions. So to begin with, in today's FAQ, what is red list? So I think this red list has always been there. To put it in a very simple perspective, it's just the World Health Organization catering for the healthcare needs and the healthcare profession, healthcare facilities of all countries in the world. So they come up with this list where they put some countries in red list, green list, or amber list. So if your country is in red list, it just means that your healthcare system is also struggling. So your country needs you more than any other country. So it is against the international recruitment policies for agencies to actively recruit healthcare professionals from that country, right? And Nigeria is on that red list, Ghana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and a lot of other countries in Africa and in Asia. So if your country is on the green list, it means that your country is not that struggling when it comes to their healthcare system. So international recruitment agencies could actively recruit from that country. So this list has always been there to the best of my knowledge, and it's just that some countries decide to put in place in some certain years. For Ireland, I think it actually like became a thing around that 2023. Around that April was when I started hearing that agencies were rejecting people's application based on red lists, whereas UK, I think it came up around 2020, 2021. So if you are in any of the countries, it will be very hard for you to get an agency to recruit you. But that doesn't mean you cannot still do it on your own. It just means that you need to put extra effort to apply directly to the hospitals in the country where you intend to move to. So that's what red list is. Some people are asking, in 2025 or in the years forward, is it still worth it to move to Ireland or any country as a nurse? Now the question is yes and no. Yes, in the sense that it will still be worth it if you are able to get the job, if you are considering like the financial differences in salaries, the work environment between wherever you might be and what Ireland stands to give, the benefit you gain as an international nurse working in Ireland, and also the benefit you gain as a nurse working in the country where you currently are. So it is a yes and no answer for me and people who are like in my shoe I'd say yes, it is worth it. But if you are far better than me, you're doing very well wherever you are, why do you want to stress yourself? Okay, so it is a yes and no answer. Financial wise, salary wise, it is much better here than it was back home for people like us. Let's say the work conditions, where you go to hospitals, you want to care for a patient, you have the consumables that you need, you have it here compared to what we had back home. And even you going to work and then you come back feeling fulfilled, I have it here compared to what I had back home. So I think this thing is more of individual differences and just summing up your entire circumstances and then maybe compare to what you have here and see which is best for you. So for some people it could be a yes, and for some people it could be a no. Some people are still asking, why do NMBI still attend to people's application and then give you a decision later and you are not able to get a job? Well, as they have outrightly stated on their website, it is not their responsibility to find you a job. Their responsibility is to protect the public, to make sure that anybody who is coming into Ireland to work as a nurse is actually a registered nurse and is equipped with the knowledge and the technical know-how to work and make sure that anybody that is being handled by them is safe. That is all they do, with many other functions. That's just one part of what they do, with many other functions, right? So they will not come to tell you, oh, I'm going to find you a job, I'm going to do this. No, their own is to assess your qualification and give you a decision whether your qualification is comparable, somewhat comparable, or not comparable at all. So if you get a decision later and you're not able to get a job, it is not dependent on them. It depends on a lot more other factors. Which one of them is the red list? So next question is Ireland still recruiting international nurses? The answer is yes. People are still coming in. I came in December 2023. After that, I've seen people that are still coming in. However, because of the red list I explained in the first question, it is becoming very I don't know how to explain how difficult it is. That is why these days it's even a bit hard for me to keep making videos encouraging nurses to move into here, because I know a lot of nurses who have their decision later but are not able to get jobs. But these nurses are not in the green list country, they are in the red listed countries. Okay, you can still try your best to apply to private hospitals, private nursing home, even the HSC directly, just to see what they would reply. But we all know that majority of recruitment is being done by the recruitment agencies, and these recruitment agencies are not able to take people directly from some of these countries. So that is the major challenge. It does not mean that they have stopped recruitment completely. No, it might also interest you to know that there was a time it was a bit slow, that the HSC wasn't really employing a lot of people at the time. But I think in recent times it has begun to speed up. But even at that, it doesn't necessarily affect people from the red listed country positively, because the list is there and agencies cannot recruit from them. Especially the government hospitals, which is the HSC, their recruitment is majorly done by recruitment agencies. So it's just a lot. Okay, I've seen a lot of adverts that is being done in recent times, and you see like targeted things. Sometimes I try to look at, let's see how I can apply, choose a country, Nigeria. In some even websites you won't even be able to click on Nigeria, because I think they have kind of blocked it, or some other red listed countries. And if you try to send them a cold mail, they will reply and tell you the same thing. So they are still recruiting, but that is just the challenge. People are asking, is it worth it to still do the self-sponsorship route? So some time ago, I tried to speak to one of the agencies here. I called them over the phone and I asked that I have friends who are willing to pay their way in here. They will pass the OSCE exam, get their PIN on their own, will you be able to assist them get a sponsorship job because they're already here? She replied and said it's not a very straightforward pathway because a lot of the employers do not want to offer the stamp one to some people. And the reason is, I don't really want to say that here on camera. I have like personal feelings about these things, but what I'm saying is, she said it's still the same thing. You're still from a red listed country, and when you come in, even though you're already here, it's generally the same thing because you do not have the legal right to work. So you can't work without them employing you. So it still means the same thing, that it's like them recruiting you all over from your country. So they can't really do that. So they can try to see how they will place you in like some temporary jobs to see if the employer will change their mind maybe 2 months, 3 months into it. But then again, you do not have the right to work, and it could still be a problem for them. So the self-sponsorship route is at this moment not really that 100% sure if that is the only way you're entering into the country. Now, to completely answer the self-sponsorship route, people are still complaining of the visa. Recently, somebody dropped a question and said, if I'm aware that the visa officers are asking of the AWS. I recently made a video where I talk about the cost of self-sponsorship as a nurse, and I made mention that reason why people are getting denied some visas is one of the reason, which is the AWS. That's tautology English, but anyways, you know what I mean by that, right? Is the AWS. It's just a typical working scheme. So what happened is, after application, they tell them, oh, you need the AWS to be able to get the visa to go in to do your OSCE. Whereas when you go to the AWS page to apply for it, one of the eligibility criteria is that you're coming to do the exams, fine, and that you need a contract from an Irish employer to be able to get the atypical working scheme. So then I am still of the opinion that somebody, if you are able to pay 2,800 euro for your exam, you could as well try to do away with 250 euro, which is the cost of the AWS, and then in your application later vividly explain, especially if you have been given a visa denial, add it to that and just say, okay, the visa office said they need this for you to come and write these exams, okay, just to see if they will give or if they will not. But as of today, I'm making this video the 20, what's today's date? Today's date is the 26th, right? Yeah, the 26th day of July. Nobody has been able to apply without or even get a rejection. I said, oh, it was because you don't have a contract. Nobody has applied yet. So I'm still thinking maybe if somebody does it, the person may get it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. And there are many other reasons why your visit visa to write your exams is being refused. I have done a video about it. You would see it in the playlist, or you can search it on my channel. You would see it, reasons why your visit visa could be denied. And I got that reasons directly from a real life scenario. It was a friend of mine who applied for the visa and was denied. So I got it from my friend to see all the reasons that were given, and then I used the reasons to explain how you could avoid it. So you might want to check that video out. People are still asking, if I am a new graduate, some people are like, oh, I'm going to be graduating this November. What do I do? How do I start? Now, my question is, it's not about what do I do, how do I start. I think you should still sit back to get a little bit of experience. The reason is not because you wouldn't, or it's not good for you to move without experience. Don't get it twisted, please. I'm not saying it is not advisable for you to move. I am just saying it in relation to your ability for you to get jobs. Now, migration has become something that is like wildfire. in recent times. A lot of people want to migrate, and just see a situation where you apply for a job with no experience and the other person applied for a job with 5 years experience. Who do you think the employer is going to go for? Now, while it is important for you to plan your relocation from the get-go and know what steps to follow, know which country will accept your qualification and stuff like that, it is also important to gather experience. At least 6 months to 1 year experience in a selling specialty will help you a lot. Also, if you're a Nigerian, I heard, I don't know if they've put it in place yet, but there was rumors previously from NMCN that if you are not up to 2 years after graduation, you are not going to be verified. So what I don't really understand about that statement was, is it after graduation or 2 years after your licensure? Because some people can graduate and have not applied for their license before. So is it 2 years after licensure or 2 years after passing the exams? So that's what. So if you are from Nigeria, you know, in 2 years time you're not even going anywhere. So you can also use like the beginning of the second year to maybe sit for your IELTS if you feel, oh, if I sit IELTS once, I'm not going to eat it. So you can do it on time and just gather, but years of experience will matter so much in your relocation journey. Another questions I keep receiving is IELTS needed? Any country that is an English speaking country require you to write or proof that you can write, speak, hear, and what? Read in English. So it's 4 modules. So listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So if you are planning to move to any English speaking country, please have it at the back of your mind that you're going to write an English language proficiency exams. Letters from your school are not acceptable as a nurse. Till this date, I have not seen or heard any nursing board from an English speaking country accepting a letter from you when you studied in a non-English speaking country such as Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, to be able to move into their country, practice as a nurse with just a letter from your school. I have not seen it yet. It could be a support letter when you have maybe a little bit down from your English language results, such as the UK, and you have been working for a UK employer, or in an English speaking country, the employer, and then NMC UK will accept that, because, and the employer needs to fill the form that comes with it, right? Outside that, I am yet to hear any other country who considers that, especially you still being in your home country. Now, somebody asked a question: if I studied in a country like, say, UK, and I want to move to Ireland, Canada, do I need to write an English language exams? No. Because you studied in an English speaking country, you do not need to write an English proficiency exams again when you are planning to move to another or a different English speaking country as a registered nurse. You do not also need an English language proficiency if you have practiced in an English speaking country for 3 years or more. Or if you have studied in an English speaking country for 3 years or more, you do not need to write English language proficiency exams anymore. Somebody is asking, the exams and adaptation, which is better? Now, these two topics, I have covered it extensively in 2 different videos. I talked about the advantages, disadvantages of OSCE. I talked about advantages and disadvantages of adaptation. I also talked about tips on how you can pass these 2 exams. So you may want to check out the links to that video in my YouTube channel, or I may try to like link up most of this video in the description box of this video so that you can just click on it and it will be easier for you to watch. Okay, so to briefly put, these two, you certainly don't have a choice to pick from an employer. It's your employer that decides which parts that you do. Now, while your employer has the ultimate decision in telling you that you have to do exams or you have to do the decision, you have to do the adaptation rather, you also have the ultimate choice to decide if to go for that employer or not. But let me tell you something. In these recent times that job is even hard to come by, and you are still sitting and being selective if I should do exams, if I should do adaptation. The truth is, people pass in both, even at first sitting, and people fail at both. A lot of people have failed adaptation. A lot of people have also failed OSCE. Now, I do not have the statistics to fully explain which one has the highest pass or fail mark, right? But I know that in preparing for both is literally the same thing. While some people think adaptation is easier because you're just working under supervision, others disagree and said exams is better because I'm just doing everything under exams condition. I sometimes do not really need to do that thing practically. I just need to say it. So both have their pass rate and their fail rate. So it's entirely dependent on you if you want to choose or not. So I'm sure I'm able to say a point there. Okay, next question is if you are required to do verification. Now, before I even answer that one, let me tell you what verification is, right? Verification is just your nursing body telling another nursing body that you are a nurse and you are in good standing with them. So let's say you are a registered nurse from Ghana and you want to move to Nigeria to also practice as a nurse. Somebody needs to vouch on your behalf to say, oh yes, I know this person, he trained so place, got registered so year, and has been in good standing with this registration body for so amount of years. That's basically what verification is. So you cannot just move to a different country and become a nurse in that country without somebody vouching on your behalf, and that's what it does. Another question that people are asking is, what if I want to use the study route? Now, at this point in time, I think that is the much valid pathway. Trust me, I am not an education advisor. I'm not an immigration specialist. I'm just making videos, right? But if you ask me if you should use the study route, I would say, please, if you are financially able to do that, do it. And do it in the sense that you may not necessarily work. For example, now let's say your interest is to work as a nurse in Ireland, right? And you have the opportunity to study a 1-year top-up nursing in the UK. Take it. When you arrive UK, you have your BRP, because for agency to recruit you from another country who is not like your country of origin, for them to recruit you, you need to have a legal right to be there and to work, right? So with your BRP, which is your British residence permit in the UK, agencies from Ireland would probably be able to employ you to come over to UK when you are done with your school. But you need to start in time to prepare for that, right? Now, let's say you are intending to work in Ireland and then you still want to come to Ireland to study. So you can do your 1-year top-up nurse or your master's or your PGD here, and after your school you're going to get like a year or 2 to remain in the country. So we are just hoping and praying that because they are still looking for nurses, by the time you finish your school and you get your PIN, before you finish your 1 year, 2 years, you should be able to get people an employer to employ you here. So I still think that's like the most valid option over the self-sponsorship route option. It's financially intensive. I know some people have the money, so you can go ahead and do it. Even though I am not an immigration specialist, I'll tell you, if you are able to move to countries who is willing to take you now at the moment, and then you can move to any part of Europe from there, it will be better. So you can move to the eastern, to the east, and then when you are done, you can move to the western part. I hope you know what that means. So that would be a lot easier. Or you can travel to a green listed country, live there for a while, and try to apply to agencies. Okay, you can as well try to study masters in countries that has affordable school fees, like in Poland, Romania, and then from there you can now move to any part of Europe that you want, and agencies will recruit you from there. So there are many different pathways to these things. It's just that most of them are financially intensive. So if you are able to afford it, that's fine. Please go ahead and do it. I talked about healthcare assistance extensively, so I do not think I need to take that question again. You can check just a video before this one you're watching now. I talked about how you can become a healthcare assistant in Ireland. I have talked about how you can become a teacher, medical lab science, and other healthcare professionals. I will soon do a video on how you can become a pharmacist in Ireland. That video will be popping up real soon. I hope I've been able to answer a lot of questions. If there is more, or if there are more, I'm definitely going to do a part 2. By the way, if you've watched up to this point, thank you so much. Give this video a like, drop your questions in the comments, and we'll do some of this day soon.